Hey YouTube, it is me, your favorite girl here, Kayla Janelle, TotesMonroe, whatever you want to call me, just keep it cute. Thank you. So y'all, today we have a story time. Finally, the long-awaited Stalker story time, as well as a silk press tutorial. It's not really a tutorial because I'm not teaching you how to do a silk press. You're just watching me do mine. So I'm kind of teaching you, kind of not, because I'm not talking about it. But if you're a visual learner, I am teaching you because you are watching me do it from beginning to end. But if you need verbal tips, it's not a tutorial. But if you don't need verbal tips, it's a tutorial. Whatever. Regardless, after sitting on this idea for a long time and not really wanting to open myself back up to people running their mouth, I'm giving y'all a story time today, a long-awaited story time. People have been telling me to do this story time for years and years and years because you're gonna go viral, you this, you that. And that's never been my thing. Like, this is my real life testimony, not just content. So I took my time telling this story, and I wanted to tell it from a healed space, from where I can easily forgive and move on. I can tell this story and not have to worry about no shit coming to me after the fact or somebody saying something to me. Like, I'm just in a great space, surrounded by great energy, surrounded by love, peace, and positivity. So now is the time to tell y'all about how I've had a stalker for 8 years now, an active stalker for 8 years now. If you've been on my Instagram, if you've been on my Twitter, you already know, or if you know me in real life, you know exactly what I'm getting ready to tell y'all. So just get your popcorn, get your snacks, roll you a blunt, whatever you need to do, because the timeline starts in 2017. And this is the story time behind it. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Enough is enough. For Vlogmas day, 7, 8, one of them, we're gonna do a little story time and silk press tutorial. Just because I don't have much going on today, but I do have something going on tomorrow. So I figure I'll give y'all a sit down video today and just like a vlog tomorrow to get back in our groove. You know what I mean? Today, this story time is going to be good. So let's just get into it. I have all my items laid out. All I need is my comb, my box of clips, my heat protectant, and my flat iron. That's literally all I need. And I decided to do story time today because we're getting ready to go into a whole new year. And the things that I've worked on this year, the ways that I've healed, and the effort that I put in to heal, I'm really proud of myself. And I told myself I would not tell this story until I've healed and until I've moved on. And until I'm able to tell it from a place that's not malicious or doesn't seem petty. Like, I wanted it to be in order and I wanted it to be in good taste, because this story is still actively going on, but this testimony can still actively help somebody. And just because it's actively going on doesn't mean I'm actively a part of it. You know what I mean? And when it comes to a silk press, I feel like most of y'all know the vibes when it comes to a silk press. And how to do a good one. I just needed a good title, y'all. Like, I did not know what to use for a title, so I felt like silk press tutorial was the best thing, since y'all are literally watching me do one from beginning to end. But to start out, I just part my hair in fours to get it out the way and to see what I'm working with, because my hair might be heat trained, but it is thick. And this video just feels right on time, and it feels so fresh and refreshing because I had to get a whole new phone, whole new storage plan, because the other plan was stressing me out. All right, we're gonna start with this section first. let's get the timeline jumping all the way to 2017. I moved to Riverdale with my family after just graduating from college, and I don't know, the area was way more busy than what I was used to. Like, I am a real, not necessarily a country girl, but we've always lived on like the outside of the busy city or the outside of busy areas. So moving over here was my first like, okay, we really out here with the community. So moved over here and it was really nice. Like, I adapted very well when I moved over here. Neighbors were really sweet, but there was the house across the street from me that this boy stayed at. And it's so funny because for an entire year before me and him started talking, me and him, like, we scoped each other out type shit for a whole year. Like, stealing looks at each other. Like, he'll be walking down the driveway to get in his car. I'll be walking to the mailbox to get the mail. And a lot of times, like, his brother or his friends will be with him and they'd be like, bro, go talk to her. Or they would be, and I would hear them, like, try to just be loud and bring attention to him being outside so I could look, so it can cause a conversation, just whatever. I remember one time I went out there specifically because I saw he was out there on the street with his car, and it was like, I think it was like 5 dudes out there. And now I know that that was his brother and his friend group. But back then, I was just like, you know, I see him outside, so I'm finna go outside. So I just went and checked the mail. We didn't even have no mail. It was like 6 o'clock in the evening. We didn't even have no mail. But I walked back in. And from there, that's when I started to silently plot, like, now we know that he sees us. And he know that we see him back. So that was how my life over here started. Real peaceful, real, like, some shit straight out of a movie. Like, so fast forward to 2018. That's when me and him officially made contact. Like I said, I had lived over there in Riverdale at this house specifically for a whole year already. So in 2018, my aunt died. And everybody got that one aunt where it's like, that's auntie. That's the family's auntie. And that was our girl. So that was a real tough time, which is why I feel like God was so intentional with this part of my life. You know what I mean? So that the day that she passed, we all left the hospital and came back home. I remember I was sitting down in the basement with my mom, and we were getting ready to watch a movie because she was just having a rough time. And we were sitting in the basement getting ready to watch a movie, but something told me go upstairs. And when I went upstairs, I had peeped that all of my family came over. And I am such a family girl. So, like, once I saw everybody, I was outside in the driveway with them. I would go back in and check on my mom, see if she wanted to come outside and chill with us. She wasn't really in the mood. She just kind of wanted to rest. So I came upstairs with my uncle and his girlfriend at the time. And it was a whole bunch of people. And it's so crazy because it's a whole bunch of people that I've never seen since then. That's why I feel like God is so intentional. Because there was this guy that was parked in front of our mailbox. And we're just going to say Twin. Twin was pulling out his driveway from across the street. Come to find out, years later, his mom and dad woke him up and was like, I need you to come move the car out the driveway or something. And it's so funny because he said they've never done that before. Like, his brother was home and awake, but they came and woke him up and got him out the basement, like, to come move the car. So that's why I say it's a lot of stuff don't make sense. Like, that dude that was parked there, never seen him before. So that didn't make sense. You're already in the bed sleeping. They had to come find you and wake you up when your brother was right there. That didn't make sense. But you can see all these little coincidences made sense. So he came outside, half asleep, and backed the car out the driveway, but he ended up backing into the car that was in front of the mailbox. So, and like I said, mind you, this is somebody that we've never seen before, so I didn't even know whose car it was. But I think once that happened and I saw it go down, my uncle went to the end of the street and he was talking to his dad for a while, and then I went in the house to use the bathroom or something, and when I came back out, him and his dad was in the garage, bitch. So you already know, like, I'm looking like we literally been stealing looks at each other for a whole year, and now you're in my garage. Child, please. I didn't know how to handle it, but I had to play it cool. So in the midst of that happening, he's trying to play it cool too. And like they try to get ready to exchange insurance information, but the guy whose car got hit was like, it's cool, don't worry about it, whatever. So it just ended up being a situation where I think like my uncle met his dad for the first time and they started kicking it and had conversations. Like when I tell you, like, we stayed in the driveway talking to him and his dad for I don't know how long, but my uncle's girlfriend at the time knew I had like a little crush. So when he walked by and was like, yo, how old you is? I was like, I think I said like, I was like, I'm 19 or 20 or something like that. I was young. I was like, I'm 19 or 20. And he was like, all right, bet. I didn't know what that meant, but I was okay with that. Like, I was okay with him speaking to me at that point. Like, we don't have to do the whole exchange because my family in the driveway, your dad right there. Like, I get it, shit awkward. But I was determined to get him that night. Get his number, get him, whatever it came down to. So through everybody being outside, they all decide, oh, let's go to the little cigar bar up the street. Because my uncle does poetry, and he's such a townie. Like, he can go anywhere and make it home. He can go anywhere, and then everybody know who we are, and we got, like, mob ties throughout wherever. So after everybody left and went to the cigar bar, he left and went to wherever he went. Like, he got in his car and physically left. So that next morning, I got up and was like, oh no, I'm gonna speak to him. I was like, he gonna come out the house eventually. So I was sitting in the garage smoking, just having a casual little morning, and he finally came outside. So I was like, you smoke? And he walked over to the car. We was talking and smoking and sharing a blunt, just having casual conversation. And he was like, I'm gonna come out and smoke later. You wanna smoke with me? I was like, how you gonna do that and you ain't got my number? And he was like, can I have your number? Ah! So now you have to know that part of the story to understand how we get to even having a stalker to begin with. Because it's not what you think, I swear. It was never his ex, never somebody he was talking to, not a baby mama, not a secret, not a sneaky link, not a nothing. That's why I had to tell you. But, child, from there, we was just talking 24/7. Like, as soon as he got my number, we were texting for a while. And before we even got to the whole FaceTime thing, it was more so like, I'm finna text you when I'm finna smoke at the end of the night, come outside. So we always stood against my garage to smoke. And that was our thing. Like, that's how me and him always, like that's how me and him just became friends first before anything. Because, yeah, me and him had eyes on each other. Yeah, we knew we were crushing on one another, but just sitting out there outside with nothing, like just smoking and talking about anything. Like, I'm just moving to this area, so I'm catching you up on who I am, where I came from. You've been in this area most of your life, so you catching me up on what it's like and where you came from. It'll be times where we'll be outside talking and his brother will come back from wherever, and then we'll be outside talking and just chilling. And it's just it was just like a full circle moment, because during that year of us just stealing glances at each other, his brother and his friends was in his ear, like, talk to her, talk to the baddie across the street, talk to the baddie across the street, this, that, and the third, this, that, and the third, the girl across the street, girl across the street, girl across the street. So when I found that out, you already know I'm looking like, she's that girl, she's that girl. And I think that's what really had people not liking me in advance. So you'll see why. So there's one day specifically where me and him are outside smoking during the day. And this was the day that my aunt had her little going away service. So it was just hella emotional. We had hella people at the house. So he was like, you know, come outside, smoke with me right quick. So I'm looking like, okay, bet. So I go outside, we smoking. It's a good conversation, good vibes. He see his brother come up the street, bitch. And I'm talking about not like driving up the street. I'm talking about driving like somebody's chasing you. Like, we hear you turn the corner and fly up the street. Mind you, we're kind of at the end of the street, so we hear you and see you like coming, nigga. Once he see his brother come up the street, I guess he saw that it was somebody in the passenger seat. So his face immediately was like, I'm gonna talk to you later, go in the house. I'm looking like, go in the house? Okay. Like, I'm not gonna ask no questions because, you know, it's a new man. I have to be submissive. I have to listen. So he said, go in the house. So I'm walking to the house. He walking across the street to his house. My mom stopped me on the porch, bitch. My mom stopped me on the porch because we waiting for my stepdad to bring my brother and sister in the house. He's like in the neighborhood. So we just like on the porch waiting. We just on the porch talking, waiting, because she saw I was outside already. So she like getting the tea, like, what y'all was out here doing? What y'all out here talking about? So, you know, we giggling and laughing at that. Whole time the brother and the girlfriend been arguing in the car, I think, because the only time I see them, and I'm not gonna cap to you, the only time I see them is when I see movement at the neighbor's house on the corner. Like, I'm facing in the house, talking to my mom, yada. Out my peripheral vision, I see like movement. So I look, it's the girl like swinging like this, like her boyfriend's trying to grab her, I guess, and talk to her or trying to bring her back to the car, and she's snatching away. She running up and down, like running and shit, like running away from him. Like, it was weird. But once I saw it, I caught in my mind, and I saw the brother still sitting on, I saw like twin still sitting on the steps, like shaking his head, smoking his black, like looking at me like, that's why I told you to go in the house. I kind of put two and two together, like, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is she? But before, I was like, whatever. And before I could even turn around and go back to my conversation, my mom said something and we laughed. But I'm assuming she was watching me from the side of the street, because as I'm facing this way and as my stepdad is pulling in the driveway, getting the kids out the back seat, like toddlers, kids at this point, all we hear is, and that bitch over there laughing like I want to come beat her ass. Everybody in the house would look like, who ass? Everybody who? Everybody the fuck who? Like, you saw people, you saw people get up. You saw people looking around crazy, like, who the I'm still not putting two and two together that she talking to me, because I don't know this girl. Like, why would I assume you talking to me? It's just so funny, because for you to be that insecure, or for you to be that hyped to the point where you're embarrassed, and now you gotta fight behind being embarrassed, that shit was crazy. So I look at my grandma automatically come to the door, and she looking like, you know, please, Caleb, please. Mind you, it's her sister that we just buried that day. So I'm still just being conscious. Not to mention, I'm not no hood rat, no street rat, none of that. So why would I match your energy when I don't even know you, nor do I have a fucking reason to even be on that frequency? You know what I mean? So we just chopped that up as she's embarrassed because she over there getting tossed around or over there embarrassing herself type shit. So we just went in the house. My grandma asked me to come in the house. I went in the house and we left it at that. I think you heard, like, when we closed the door, you heard him saying, like, leave her alone. You don't know her. What you doing all that for? And I feel like that probably pissed her off even more, because at this point, it's your man telling you you're wrong for what you're doing involving another female. I can't relate. I would never be mad and no shit like that, because you're holding me accountable. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But we're not talking about someone normal here. So from there, that is how my stalker found me. And that lets me know that I found out that was his girlfriend. He had a girlfriend the whole time. I've later found out that when they were in the house, like hyping up Twin to come talk to me, and girl across the street, she bad, she this, she thick, she bad, she this. She was hearing all that. So she didn't like me in advance for some shit that people were saying about me, or the way that people were speaking about me in her presence. And that's how I know it be straight out of jealousy and envy, because for you to act like that from a female that has never even spoken a word to you, like, you have to be jealous. You have to be. Or you have to know more than she do, because I ain't never just seen somebody out in public and start going crazy like that just because she's outside. Like, I don't know. But now that we got there, let's get into the real timeline. Because like I said, folks, she's been doing this since 2017, 8 years. So let's get into the real tea, the screenshots, all that. After that, some time went by and I didn't see her anymore. Like, even when it came down to like the brother bringing her over, I would hear about her being over there, but that's literally it. Like, she kind of like, she shut up and fizzled her way out after that. Child, it didn't take until one random day where she found me on Twitter. That's the crazy part. That's when I should have known, like, okay, restraining order, because I wasn't even following my new dude on social media at that time. Like, me and him weren't even in that space. Like, I didn't even have him on social media yet. We weren't even dating that long. I think this is like a month after knowing him. She found my Twitter and was like, I really wish I could have the screenshots, but that Twitter account got suspended. I used to go crazy on her ass, but that account got suspended. And I remember specifically, like, I don't remember how the conversation started, but it was more so like, do you know your man smoke weed? And I'm looking like I know you're not talking to me of all people after that shit you pulled outside. Like, I'm one of them people where we're not finna have no conversation. We're not finna move on to the next thing until you acknowledge the first thing. When we get over that hump, we can get to the next one. But the fact that she came in my DM with this energy of like, is that your boy? Do you know your boyfriend smoke? And I'm already looking like, this bitch, okay, like, but I'm still gonna remain the sweet Southern belle that I am. I'm gonna keep my cool. So I was like, yeah, I know, but what that got to do with you? And she was trying to say like that has something to do with the argument that him and his brother got in, I think like the day before or something like that. But my thing is like, first of all, they're twins. Siblings are going to disagree about whatever. Just because you were around for the disagreement don't mean nothing. When I say something was so small, like, I can't even remember. I don't even think they remember what it was about. But it was something so small where you could tell she just needed a reason to speak to me. Like, she just was waiting for an opportunity to speak to me, and them getting into like a little 3-minute argument was her opportunity. So after I let her know, I'm like, yeah, what does that have to do with you? She was basically like, him smoking weed affects his relationship with his brother, and I don't want my man to be arguing with nobody or nothing like that, or something like that. It didn't even make sense. So I told her, I was like I understand, whatever, but play your role as the other twin's girlfriend, stay in your place, and do not talk to me. What they got going on, they can handle, or their family can handle it. Neither one of us are married to them, so neither one of us have a place to say anything when it comes down to how they communicate, how they treat each other, whatever the case may be. Let them handle that. They grown men. And I remember around then, like, whenever he would smoke or whenever he would smoke Black and Miles, his brother would act like, oh, I can't be around you, I can't be around you. Or he would have to sneak and smoke. And this is still me just now coming around, peeping little shit. I'm not knowing the backstory of her always being crazy or her always having had him on a leash type shit. I'm just telling her, play the role as the other twin's girlfriend. Stay in your place. I got me and mine. Especially when it come down to some weed. Like, you think you finna turn me against him or something? Like, bitch, I smoke with him. So, like, what are you saying? I didn't care. from there, it's always been one-sided beef. Like, I shit you not. And now the story can pick up as to like the things that happened in the timeline, how she even got the label as a stalker. So fast forward to 2019, we really just started to like solidify ourselves in our relationship. And she didn't necessarily do too much, because back then when I left school, I worked at Walmart, and then I stopped working at Walmart. So I wasn't employed. I was really depressed around this time. So being in a relationship saved me. Like, I got extremely overweight, and he was just teaching me how to love myself again. Like, we didn't have the money. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a job or nothing like that. So back then, around that time, she was in her era of feeling like she was better than me, or feeling like they were the better couple. Like, she started to compete with us when it came to crazy shit. Like, whenever we would go somewhere, she would have her boyfriend take her the same place. If not the same day, the next day. It'd be little weird shit like that. So it was at one point where their thing was, we're working these warehouse jobs together to move out type shit. That was their thing. That was their goal. That was the thing that, you know, she bragged about. Like, we making this. We finna be able to do this. We finna be able to do that. Like, she's the type of person where she would rub shit in our face if she knew we didn't have it, or if Twin just went and asked his brother for $20 to put gas in the car, or for us to go smoke, or whatever the case may be. She would use that as ammo to talk shit, to try to put us down. Not necessarily us, me. My thing is, okay, you know, whatever. And it worked for a long time. Like I said, I moved over there at 19, 20. Young. Like, I ain't never, like, I was bullied in school. Never really was the bully. So, like, that shit just rolled off my back, and I treated it like I treated life any other time. Like, it's just another motherfucker that don't like me for whatever fucking reason. At that time, I couldn't see what they saw in me, but the whole time, it was just jealousy. For whatever reason. Even though I felt like I didn't have much, what I had was enough to everybody else. So, there was this one time where I decided, you know what, I'm just going to start school. I want to go to school. I want to do nails. I want to do hair. I want to get my master's in cosmetology. So my family put me through school. And he was so happy when I started school, because I was getting out the house. I was getting back into being around other females. I was getting back into just doing more, you know what I mean? And he loved that for me. So he took me to school every day until I got a car. Took me in, picked me up, and loved to. There would be times where they had to share a car due to, you know, his brothers needing an oil change or whatever. And around that time, they had nieces that weren't in school. So somebody had to stay home to, you know, watch the kiddos. And she would intentionally call the brother and be like, I got this scheduled, come get me. Or she would start an argument and make him come over there just so the car would be gone, just so I can't get to school, or just so I would have to figure out another way to get to school. And God nipped that in the bud quick, because the next month I was given a car that I didn't have to pay for. None of that. So I'm extremely grateful for that. Because at that point, he took me because he wanted to, not because he had to. And baby, right when I got in school and started solidifying myself, that's when all the copying shit started. Like, even her boyfriend would tell me, like, all she wanted to do was work and make money. She never wanted a business. She never wanted to do hair, never wanted to do any of that other crazy shit. That's how I know, like, me bettering myself started the process. Me not just sitting back being sad, or me deciding to get back and fight against my depression, or fight against the things that they would say about us. Like, I fought back against that shit. And me going to school was the best decision I could have ever made. I got my master's in cosmetology, so I can do hair, I can do nails, esthetician, I can do barbering, I can do makeup. I can do all of that under my license. And once I was in school, I'm going to say, for about a year before it was close to me to start graduating. And of course, when I get ready to start graduating, my instructor get a call from you know who, asking about enrollment information, and asking how much this cost, and asking this, that, and the third. And at that time, my instructor was aware of what was going on. because she was always involved in our lives like somebody's mom would be. So when the girl called, she already knew the vibes. And it's so funny because with it being so long ago, I don't remember the details, but I remember she cussed that girl out in front of the whole class on speaker and everything, and she didn't like that. She hung up, ain't never called back. Fast forward to when I'm about to graduate. My beauty instructor, she brought one of her like rich friends, because I tell you, that lady knew everybody. Like at one point she brought Waka Flocka's mom in there to talk to us about not letting nobody disrespect you, because people would come in there and talk to us any kind of way just because we're doing their hair. So she brought somebody in to teach us about like LLCs and solidifying your business, and really instilling in me what an entrepreneur was. Like, I knew an entrepreneur was somebody that had their own business. I got that part, but she really helped me fall in love with knowing the ins and outs and doing the work. You know what I mean? I love a behind the scenes project because I love hearing the results from people, you know, their opinions and stuff like that. So once we had that conversation, once we had that run-in with her, I immediately went home and started to prep and plan on, you know, my business and what I wanted to do from there. And I wanted to start out with hair. And because I wanted to start out with hair, I came up with my first beauty bar name, because I wanted a beauty bar because with me having my master's and doing everything, I wanted the girls to have a one-stop shop for everything. So I made She Beauty Bar. For the girls, for the ladies, for the she's. Of course, She Beauty Bar, a female beauty bar. It just makes sense. So I made up my logos, made up my business page, and because I was just coming out of cosmetology school, I had nice clientele under my belt already, so I was able to actually like do the business once I got my license. And I was just so grateful for being in that space. Like that, I found purpose in that. I knew from there that I would never want to work for nobody, that I would never want to work under nobody. And I've been on my entrepreneurship since then. Like, yeah, I've had a job here and there, but since starting this entrepreneur journey, I've only had 2 jobs. That was Bath and Body Works and a law office. And the law office was just last year. Bath and Body Works was like before COVID or during COVID. What was I saying? Oh, girl, this is where it gets tea. Mind you, I told you, her man said that she never really wanted to do all that. Like, she was fine with working. She was fine with making money. So as soon as I post my business page and I start posting the clients and people start being like, oh, you got a business. Oh, you got this. Oh, you got that. Once people really started to gravitate towards me, that's when I remember specifically, it was one day, me and my boyfriend at the time were sitting in the car. I want to say her and her dude ended up getting into it that day or whatever. So, of course, he pulled up and he immediately walked to the car trying to vent or talk about it. And that's when he had just picked me up from school. So I was already in the car. We was already smoking, vibing, doing our thing. He had just gave her money to do something, or they had just went somewhere. And not too long after seeing that I wanted to do hair, she started talking about she wanted to do hair and started trying to get him to buy her supplies and just little shit like that. And he wasn't having it. Like, he always tell me he realized back then what she was doing. He just felt like he had to be a supportive boyfriend because that was what he was supposed to do. Crazy as fuck, but that's what he said. And from there, that's when it really locked in. Like, oh, she not only doesn't like you, she wants to do what you do. Didn't make sense, but whatever. Of course, from there, you already know she made her business pages say the same exact thing. All of a sudden, it became oh, she stole my business name. She stole my name. When it's, girl, you've never had a business. Like, you've never had a business. And even if you did have a business, where is it? Like, we haven't seen it. Your boyfriend hasn't seen it. none of this man's family has seen it. So I got their sister like buying lashes and shit. Like I got their mama coming to get her nails done. So it's like when that narrative came out, motherfuckers was like, what do you talk about? So of course, like I said, with me have never really even going through something like that before, I wish I didn't respond because I had favor on my side. But as an Aries, ain't no bitch or nigga ever finna spit a narrative, and I know that's not my character. Like, you literally sat here and watched me go to school. You literally sat and tried to sabotage me while I was going to school. And the whole time I'm at school, you're telling me how I ain't this, how I ain't gonna be shit, how I'm not gonna do this, how I'm not gonna succeed, how I'm just not. And then here you go doing the same shit with the same name. What? But that's literally like what the narrative of that year was. Like, me flourishing, me finding myself, me starting my career, and her trying to convince people that's my idea. I started that. That's my name. That's my name. That's my name. I don't know where she got this attachment to the word she from, but I could have sworn that was a pronoun that we all use to join our sentences together or to refer to another person. If you want to remain nameless, hey, do your thing. But TotesMonroe has always been my thing. I've always gone by TotesMonroe. I've never gone by a she. I've never did anything with she until I started my she beauty bar. And that was an idea that somebody else in school gave me. Because like I said, somebody came through and it was a class to get our business shit in order. So anything I came up with had to be right there in class. And it was through like a not telephone, but like a ping pong system where you'll throw ideas out there and then the class will kind of talk to you and try to help you figure out why it's a good idea, why it's not a good idea, that kind of thing. So I knew I wasn't coming up off my name for nothing, and I didn't for a good year because they granted my LLC. Once they granted my LLC, I knew, like, can't no bitch tell me nothing about nothing that got my name on it legally. So I went out here and I flourished, and She Beauty Bar opened me up to such success. Like, even to this day, people that found me from She Beauty Bar still wait to get their hair done, still wait to get their nails done. And I want to say I didn't change my name, my business name, until like 2020 because I wanted a full revamp. Like, after spending that whole year with her, like filling up the hashtag with bullshit or hashtagging her silk pressing her own hair, like she'll do her own hair to tag under my She Beauty Bar hashtag, but the hashtag will be full of like clients. It'll be client selfies. It'll be client reviews. It'll be like real business page content. And once I saw that she like, I'm telling y'all don't ever put anything past somebody that's not mentally stable. I don't think y'all understand, like, for somebody to sit back and create page after page after page, email after email after email, just to flood a hashtag with their photos and their fake business page, you can have it. Because my thing was, oh, well, let me show you. I'm gonna show you how this works, because it's never been the name. It's never been the logo, the colors, the aesthetic, bitch. It's been me. Like, so I told myself, I was like, watch. As soon as I get ready to change my name and move off that, she won't want nothing to do with it anymore. I'll end up changing my business name to like the Lavish Lash or something. The Lavish Lounge, I think. Still do the same thing because I was still going to do the lashes, the nails, the hair, the esthetician, all that. Once I changed to the Lavish Lounge, bitch, She Beauty Bar fizzled the fuck out. Do you hear me? That's how I know. People only want what you want because you make it look good, not because it holds any value on its own. Like, you can't fight delusion with logic or common sense. Like, once I saw she was the type of cuckoo to screenshot my LLC and then go make it her header on Twitter just to be like, oh, look, y'all, congratulate me. Crazy. Like, her dude told me one time when I went, we were having a conversation. I was like, why do you pay for everything that you know, like, ain't her idea type shit or whatever? And His excuse don't matter. That's personal. We've grown from that. But the nigga ended it with, she her only client. She only do her hair. So it's, just keep doing what you're doing, bruh. And I was just like, you know what? That is going to hold me a lot longer than you think it is. Because that's always been the case. Even when I sit back and think with the 2024 mindset, she's always been her own everything. Fast forward to October of that year. Child, I've got my LLC in September. Okay? Screenshot. I love a paper trail. This crazy mother took a month to stack up $50 to go pay an annual registration. Mind you, you pay your annual registration after your LLC has been active for I think 2 years to renew it. So I bought it in September. She went and tried to renew it in October just to change the name and the address to her name and her address, just so they would email her a copy of the LLC with her name on it. Ain't that crazy? Baby, I'll tell you, the Secretary of State called me after emailing me and was like, we've experienced fraudulent blah 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 blah. We're emailing you over a document. Please look it over. Child, once I saw that, I immediately broke down because I'm like I said, I've never been in a situation where a crazy motherfucker is going to go to the extreme to keep up with you or to be you or just whatever. So I'm looking like this is some real movie shit that I'm watching play out in real life. So once I showed my family that was it. My grandma found me an attorney, and baby, we started looking up the process of a restraining order. Because mind you, she would be doing all this from her phone, but be sitting across the street in the house with her boyfriend. That's why it's always so crazy to me. Because bitches be weird behind them phones. But in real life, they'll never press you. They'll never speak to you. They'll never try you because they know better. I promise you. People only convincing themselves. If they needed to convince you, they would have came with some action. Hello? Clock that, clock that, clock that. But once she did that fucking fueled my grandma and my nigga. And we got that restraining order rolling. Like, not too long after that. I don't even remember the dates because this is before they made the courts like all electronic. So I had a paper restraining order. And it's so funny because I went to the courts and was telling the lady why I needed a restraining order, and she immediately pushed me through. Normally, you would have to go in and write this out, and then it'll go to somebody else for them to approve it, and then it'll go to the judge. Sometimes the judges for that county will have to approve a case to see if they're even getting ready to go through scheduling a court date for something, right? Child, I went in there and talked to the little court clerk and expressed to them why I feel as if my life is in danger. And they immediately gave me a court date. And what put the nail in the coffin that got that court date was a motherfucker's anger. Now, I'm not gonna lie. After the whole fraud with the LLC thing, that shit turned me up. And it came so many nights where I would stand in the driveway and wait till he took her home just to see. Because she would be on social media yapping like, oh, when I see that bitch, it's on site. So I would plant myself in the middle of the street intentionally, staring her down. From the time she go to the house to the time they get to the car. You think she ever stopped? You think she ever said anything? Baby, as soon as she got in that car, her ass will hop on Twitter and be on some, yeah, that's what I thought. Bitches ain't bad. Girl, shut up. Shut up. From there, the girl became a bigger joke. So I want to say a couple weeks after that, I don't even know how, but I had gotten a car accident like a month before this even happened. So I was going to a chiropractor for like 3 months straight. And I was on my way to a chiropractic appointment when her boyfriend called Twin and was like, we want to come together and squash this shit out. She said she want to make shit right. My gut already telling me bullshit. So I was like, just come to the lake. We was already at the lake smoking anyway. They come to the lake. My boyfriend make his piece. Her boyfriend make his piece. She make her piece. As soon as it's my turn to speak and I start talking that real shit and calling shit out, like, she wanted to make it seem like, oh, we're dating twins. We should be cool. We should be going out with one another. I was like, I'm not, like, once it was my turn, I'm like, bro, I'm not doing none of that shit with you when you insist on being a carbon copy of me. Like, you copy what I do, you throw rocks and hide your hands, like, all that shit. Clearly something that I said triggered her because she started trying to yell and I immediately dismissed her, like, girl, whatever. She tried to walk across the car. She's like, okay, get out the car, get out the car. I'm still looking at my boyfriend like, am I allowed to get out the car? Like I said, I've never been no street rat, never even been in a situation like this, but you damn sure not finna embarrass me in front of my man. Are you crazy? I got out the car. I stood there like this. She's standing across the fucking 3 feet away at the damn tree. So I gotta walk closer. That's when she wanna run up and just start swinging. Mind you, she's not hitting me. So I grabbed the back of her head and hold her down. Like going in her shit. I don't remember what happened from there. I think she started grabbing me. No. I'm going in her shit, right? I two-hand that hoe by her ponytail and I literally do like a 360 swing. And when I turn around to get back to this side, I let her go. And she, like I said, the girl is this big. Big as the tip of my fucking comb. So I wasn't expecting her to get distance and wind like that. And it's so funny because the twins will sit back and talk about this day when we having sessions or when we just sitting back chilling. And they'll sit back and tell me what they saw from their point of view. And I can just laugh by imagining it because, like, the way they laugh and tell the damn story is like some superhero cartoon shit. Like, that's why I was like, I wish one of them would have recorded it, bro. I wish, because that would have been all I needed. That would have been all I needed to shut her up forever. But girl, once I threw her into that damn tree and I went and got on top of her, from there she gave up. She was holding my jackets like this, both hands. That's when her boyfriend come over and pick her up. She's still holding on to me. So I'm telling him like, bro, get her off me. Like, at this point, I'm not even, like, I think when he picked her up and she was still holding me like this, I remember doing one of these, bop, and that shit got her right in the face and she was still holding me like this. And after that, I felt bad. It felt like overkill because looking at her face, her shit was red. Her damn nose starting to leak a little bit. Her hair was all over the place. She had leaves all over the place. She had tears rolling down her eyes. And I started to feel bad. So I was like, just make her let me go, bro. Just let her let me go. So as soon as, like, she's grabbing onto me, like, holding on, like she want to bring me in for a hug and say sorry type shit. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And hearing it from my boyfriend at the time's point of view, it's happening exactly how I'm saying it. And he's looking like, why won't she let you go? She's not even swinging. Like, she's just holding you. So he ended up getting her hands off. She ended up letting go. They end up walking down there to the water because he's trying to, like, wipe her face and calm her down because she's still, like, mind you, a bus just dropped off hella kids. So they all standing there watching, laughing from the bus and shit. We immediately get in the car and peel off, and I go to my chiropractic appointment. Girl, do you know how far you have to be to whip some ass and still make it to your chiropractic appointment to get your back cracked? It was crazy. Like, and I was told no action, no nothing to mess up what I got going on. So the fact that I had to go in there like, yeah, doc, I'm all good. Like, just slight pain in my hips, but it's no problem. I'm feeling pretty good today. Seeing that I just super soaked the bitch at the park. Crazy. From there, that bitch yelled. I think as I'm walking away and as she's getting picked up, she like, don't sleep, bitch. I'ma kill you. Some shit like that. So I'm like, oh, restraining order. Convincing them that they was bad enough to go against me. That fight did it all. That threat put the nail in the coffin. I shit you not. When we finally get to court, my grandma, my attorney, my boyfriend on my side, her boyfriend on her side, and I think her parents in the back. And mind you, it's a court to where when you go to court for stuff like this, you're sitting in a courtroom with a whole bunch of people. So we sat and listened to a whole bunch of people's stories before it was even time for our case. And you could tell just by how she was moving, or just by how she was in there just talking to her boyfriend as the case was going on. She thought shit was sweet. She thought this was a walk in the park. So when it was our turn, they called me up to the stand. They sit her down over there. My attorney walks up. No, before I even go to the stand, my attorney speaks. She lays it all out on the table. She lets them know what we're seeking a restraining order for. She's going up there giving the judge proof of all the things that I'm saying. And when it's my turn to go to the stand, baby, you know I'm stepped. I'm dressed to the nines, really on my scandal shit. I got my little folder with my timeline sticky noted and dated and stamped. We're not missing nothing, okay? I'm trying to get this whole book for real. But it's so funny because I'm so soft-spoken, and when I first got up there and I'm talking to the mic, I'm not realizing I need to be up on the mic for it to hear me. So the judge asked me something and I said it, and then he was like, say it again, and if I have to keep asking you to speak up, I'm just gonna dismiss the case. So I'm looking like, damn, like y'all kind of rude. But I accidentally look at her ass and she over there laughing, eating it up like, So the Aries in me, nigga, my eye did like this. I said, bet. Nigga, I got in front of that fucking mic and nigga, we went in. I started telling everything. I started telling my part. I started telling her part. I started telling what started it, what ended it, what I said, what she said, how we got here, how we left here, all that. We got to the fight. I told him the threat that she said. Mind you, this girl has had a history of threatening me on social media already. When I got into a car crash, she said, you should have died in that car accident, die bitch, or some shit like that. Crazy as fuck. Like, how are you jealous of somebody to the extent where you want them to die? Like, I ain't never not liked nobody to the point where I want you to die or I want something bad to happen to you. Like, that's OD. That's why I really took her ass to court, because like once you start talking about my well-being, you know where I stay, you know what I drive, you know where I go to school, you're weird. I need on paper that you're weird, just in case I have to protect myself again. But once I told my piece, the whole time me and her sitting there talking, her mom in the back crying, like they don't know what the fuck going on, like they didn't know they birthed a fucking monster. But you can tell when people are used to not communicating for real, or not. You can just tell when people aren't used to the real world, because she went in there on some, oh well, I only told her to get out the car because she called me a bitch, or I only said this because she said she didn't like me, or she said she said I was ugly, or she was talking about me, like shit like that. She went with that type of excuse, and even the judge looking like, okay, so where's your solid proof of your life being in danger? This motherfucker gonna say, oh, can I open up my phone? I can pull up her Twitter. I can show you. Court dismissed. Restraining order granted, 2 years. You cannot even step 10 yards from her home, from her, whatever the case may be. Mind you, I just needed a paper trail. I knew she wasn't gonna stop going to that nigga house. That wasn't the problem. I needed a paper trail just in case I beat her the fuck up at that nigga house. You know what I mean? Key. I want to say right after that, in that moment, I felt like such a fucking winner. Like, I felt so seen, I felt so heard, I felt so received. I just felt justice. Just justice. And it's just so amazing because I spent the rest of that year, y'all, like, in such peace. Like, I kid you not. Like, getting that restraining order was the best thing I could have ever did, because that let other people know what was going on. They put it on paper, what she was doing, and it saved me for the future. Now, I was able to end out that year, you know, just perfectly fine. Like, she was still doing weird shit. She was still talking shit. Definitely, when I got that restraining order, oh baby, she tried to reel me into any conversation so she could get one on me. And I remember her boyfriend at the time told me, like, her goal is to get a restraining order on you back. So don't fall for none of that shit. Like, don't feed into it. Just continue to ignore her. And I did. And the rest of that year was like easy sailing. We prepared to go into 2020, and that's when we really went into lockdown. So I really started to put myself in my millionaire mindset. Like, really tried to put myself in my bag. So that year, like, me and my mom were just talking about, like, with COVID being around, it was time to make some money. So I was already doing nails, I was already doing hair, but this is when I really put making press-ons under my belt. Press-ons, we started a skincare company. I was modeling still, heavily modeling. So I was getting paid for that, getting opportunities from that. I couldn't do the lashes, so I started selling them. And this was after I was a brand ambassador for lashes for so long. So I never got into the extensions thing. I just started selling strips. So right when I got into selling strips, y'all know what's coming around. Y'all know. Once I started selling strips, that's when I heard about, oh, she's doing this too. Girl, once all of this shit was brought to my attention, I knew to not let that year be like another She Beauty Bar year. And I'm telling y'all right now, like, during COVID, I made the most money I have ever made in my life. I was living good. And little did she know, her being on my platform took a lot of her supporters and made them clients, made them customers, made all that. Like, people not dumb. They'll put two and two together eventually. Especially when it comes to somebody like that. Like, outside of doing like the lavish lounge stuff like that, like, I wanted to really do like something different when it came to like modeling groups and girl groups and just women empowerment get-togethers and shit like that. So I had a couple of my friends brand themselves as lavish ladies, and I made some little two-piece sets with my brand name on it, just so people realize, like, once you come here, you're getting an experience, but you're also getting like just more. Like, I didn't want it to be just a salon. Like, you can shop my outfit too. That way you're still repping the business, you're still repping yourself as a lavish lady, and it's still a brand, you know what I mean? I just wanted my brand to be, I wanted to do a little bit of everything. That's always been my tea, always. So once I started, once I did that, I knew from there, fashion, anything clothes, anything streetwear will be my baby. Like, and I've always been the type where I was hesitant to start businesses because we already knew what that meant. We already knew what that came with. But once it got to the point where TotesMonroe's name carried so much weight, couldn't nobody convince nobody that what's mine wasn't mine. And nobody could put on my mask, put on my face, walk my walk, talk my talk, and be like, oh, this is mine. Motherfuckers get laughed at. Like, people know better. I promise you. Oh my God, my manufacturer sent over my samples. Come back for tomorrow's vlog to get into that. I want to say for a couple years, all the way to like 2022, she did the same shit, y'all. Like, it's just the same copy and shit. Like, I wish I could tell y'all something different, but she became so predictable after a while, to the point where I knew how to walk and I knew how to say things and I knew how to post things, just for her to set herself up to fail. If I knew I was starting a business, I wasn't going to do the whole coming soon thing. Like, you're just going to see it when you see it, when the world see it, when the world start buying stuff. And then from there, once I prayed over my business and once I prayed over myself, whatever you do to come against that will fuck you up. And that's real. I went straight to God after that restraining order and allowed him to fight my battles, because I knew, like, I can't fight a demon. I'm a sweetie. I'm an angel. I don't have the capacity to even go back and forth with a demon to even understand why they do the things they do. So I'd rather steer clear and not make that my business at all. And like, I want to say 2020 to 2022 was one of those years where I watched her go through her karma over and over and over and over again due to the shit that she was doing to me. And that motivated me to not pay attention to it. That motivated me to block her on everything and keep her blocked on everything. And then from there, that's when it started to do the whole, hey, I just want to reach out and say I'm sorry. We should be friends. We should be sister-in-laws. We should be cool. And me being me, I never leave people in the same position. I will always allow you to reinvent yourself. I will always allow you to be better. I'm not God. I can't judge you. So I will always give her a chance to be a friend to me. But the damn demon in her would never allow her to stay a friend. Like, it was a situation where we would go out. And it was one time where I went and got a tattoo. And she was so infatuated. Oh my God, I love your tattoo. Couldn't wait to like, this bitch was like, I love your tattoo. Like, infatuated, like all touching all on me and shit. And then like a week later, once she fizzled herself out and couldn't be a friend no more, that's when it turned into that rough ass skin, that ugly ass tattoo. Like, bitch, I'll never take anything you say serious. You don't even take anything you say serious. Be for real. So it's like, when you start to look at things with those kind of lenses, it makes it easier for things to never bother you again. Like, when I say unbothered era, I mean unbothered era. That is until the bitch caught me off guard a little bit. Like 2022 into 2023, I really stepped into my clothing designer bag. So I started my own brand, The Multi Hustle. Just a clothing company for girl and guy hustlers like myself to shop and wear motivational pieces. That's literally what I created it for. And I had just found out about drop shipping at that time. So I was just putting out shit like a H&M or like a Hot Topic kind of brand where I wanted to be a graphic tee company. You know what I mean? So I was doing that and that went so good. I had people like literally ordering my stuff and wearing it and tagging me in it. Like, the twins' brother ended up leaving her and end up moving on with his life, so he was able to come around and support me, and things just felt so fair and correct. Like, after a long time of fighting for my identity, I was in a position where I was solidified in my identity, and people knew from there when something was mine. Like, once the Multi Hustle came out, people were so excited to support me because they saw what I went through with She Beauty Bar. They saw what I was going through with the little shit when it came to the Stalker. Like, she'll send her pictures to companies saying they're me, or she'll reach out to companies and try to talk shit to them, or she's called every job that I've been at. Like, this one job, they gave me keys and made me co-owner because I was the only nail tech there. She called them and tried to see if that was even true. And he had to tell her, like, yes, that's true. Who the fuck are you? Like, weird shit, okay? So people genuinely gravitated to supporting me on purpose, out loud on purpose. And that's God. I thank God. So that's why I say when I'm solidified in me, people know who TotesMonroe is. They know what TotesMonroe sounds like, feel like, look like, sound, all that. I'm solidified. And I thank God. And I even thank that version of me that was fighting back then, because all that fight was not in vain. I'm telling you. That's how I am now. That's why I am where I am now. But back to the story. So for a good like year, I did the whole multi-hustle thing. And of course, you know, instead of copying me like she did before, she was out loud with the disrespect, out loud with the weirdness. And I think that's what, I'm not gonna say I think, that's definitely what fucked her up when it came down to her name and her face and her reputation. Because word travels fast and Atlanta is not that big. So the fact that you started a company with the same exact name after I did it, after I had products printed, after I had photo shoots with the brand, after I had people buying my shit and tagging me saying that they bought my shit, like, you kind of waited too late to do all that, because that shit just made her look crazier. That shit just definitely confirmed everything that I was saying, and it made people respect me a lot more and want to get to know me on a personal level, because it's like, bro, how are you strong enough to deal with that? I would've, that bitch would've. And that allowed me to let people know that God is real, and I would rather let my God work, period. So, like, after attempting to fight that at first, I just asked God to, you know, change my path. And I ended up falling out of love with the business. Like, I ended up just not wanting to do nothing with it anymore. And somebody contacted me and asked me that I want my own collection. And from there, because I knew they were on a different level when it came to this shit, I wanted to be on a different level. So I completely scrapped that shit. I completely went to my drawing board. And for a whole year, I've been drawing up designs, getting samples, drawing designs, getting samples. Like, that box is literally a sample of my fall winter collection. Like, I'm trying to give that to y'all ASAP. That's how long I've been working on it, for like 2 years almost. And because I knew God was doing something greater, I had no problem letting multi-hustle go when he told me to. And I'm glad he told me to, because guess what happened as soon as I took multi-hustle off my page? She put that shit down just as fast as she picked that shit up. And that's nothing but God. Like, she fizzled out for a long time. Like, when I say out of sight, out of mind, falling off the face of the earth for a good year, like I said, I've watched God humble people in crazy ways, and no, I don't know what went on behind the scenes, but what I do know is it fucking worked, and my peace was peaceful for once. Like, I could be around the twins and have a conversation, and nobody's nervous about a bitch finding out or a bitch not liking us communicating or just whatever. Like, it was just so much life to live at that point, because we didn't have a fucking surveillance camera on our back, you know what I mean? And I feel like that had a lot to do with the friend that I had at the time, because when you have friends that don't play about you, they're not going to play about you. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Me and Donis might not communicate heavily anymore, but I know that's my girl. And if it ever came down to me needing her, or if it ever came down to me needing something from her, she was there. Or if I didn't like something, if she did something to me and Donis didn't like that shit, I would just wake up to Donis did this and it caused this, and now old girl mad about this. Like, it got to one point where I don't know how, but Donis ended up finding a video. Like, the girl was crashing out about losing her weed or something like that, and she was abusing her boyfriend because of it. Donis ended up finding that video, ended up getting into one of the girl's business pages, and she posted the video of her crashing out behind the weed. My nigga, that post is still up there to this day. That's why I say, like, who you are and the shit you do will follow you. You have to be careful. Everybody is not gonna play with you. And I think she thought shit was sweet, because I've never been a confrontational person. I've never been a bully. I've never been one of them. So I'm going to let you think I'm weak due to how I'm handling shit, because I know behind the scenes, God's going to do much more damage than I ever could. So I'm going to leave you to that. But child, did I underestimate Donis? That's the realest shit anybody's ever did for me. That's my girl to this day. We had justice, and once we had peace, y'all, that girl fizzled the fuck out. And she didn't come back around until I started doing YouTube last year. Like, last year, when I picked up YouTube to really give it my all again. Child, of course, y'all already know that's when she came out of nowhere with the, oh, I'm a YouTuber and all of that. But of course, once he told me, like, once her ex told me, like, she's back on her shit, don't feed into it, don't pay attention to it, I genuinely stopped reacting to shit. Like, who I am right now, you cannot get me to give a fuck about what somebody is copying or what somebody is doing. Like, I prayed to be an influencer, and God is literally putting me in the position. I just have a super fan. Never had one of them before, but we finna rock it out and see what it's like. Rocks out with our cocks out. I mean, hey, might as well make the best out of it. Like, I know no matter what I do, I have somebody supporting me. Whether it's coming out in a way that's positive and full of love and full of emojis and blah, 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 no. But I'm supported. She loves me. She loves me a lot. So I'm motivated to keep going. I'm motivated to keep posting, because the girls need me. The girls need me to get up off their ass and work out. The girls need me to get up off their ass and eat different, or drink tea, or to do something with their fucking life. Like, That's literally it. To this day, y'all, like, she would copy the, like, when I say copy, I don't mean like finding inspiration because I'm a content creator and I have inspo on my page. Like, no, like, I mean, if I silk press my hair, I give it 2 days. Her hair is silk pressed. If I was silk pressed and I put a wig on, give it 2 days. She gonna put a wig on. If I have an Amazon store, which I do, as soon as I post a link, what's she gonna do? Create an Amazon store. Like, I even had a girl tell me, because I'm in a book club, and like I've told you, she likes to follow people that I know. She likes to mix and mingle with people that I know for whatever reason. So she ended up trying to call herself following one of the book club girls. And the book club girl, not knowing who she is, I forgot how we got in conversation, but the girl was like, yeah, like, I was looking on her storefront and it looks exactly like yours. Like, all the books that you say you read or all the books that you post, she has. Like, all the things that I like, all things that my storefront has, basically, she went and put up there. But the only difference is my storefront is full of shit that I've actually bought. When it comes down to living this life for real, I do this naturally. That's why it all happens how it happens. That's why I've always told myself, like, oh, my testimony is going to touch people. It's going to do this. It's going to do this. Because this is real life shit that most people be like, oh, that shit only happens in movies, or that shit only happens blah, blah, blah. Like, no, babe, I promise you. This shit is real. Real. But now that we got all the info out the way, I want to take this time to say this was all a part of my testimony. I was meant to go through this. I was supposed to have this happen, regardless of how many times it made me suicidal, regardless of how many times it had me depressed. Because I'm not gonna lie, there was a good year where I was on the fake page shit. I was on my monitoring spirit shit, and that was just only from the standpoint of nobody is finna do me better than me and then come up off of it. Like, I refused to let that shit happen. So I was on her ass every time she thought she was on mine. I was already 2 steps ahead by the time that she copied me and did what she did. So, like, yeah, like, I genuinely had to go to my grandma and tell her, like, well, she really told me and my boyfriend at the time, like, y'all are going through spiritual warfare. What y'all going through is spiritual. This shit's not normal. This shit's not normal. This shit's not normal. So I remember specifically, she laid me and him down in her bedroom. Like, she made us lay on our face while she threw oil on us, while she prayed over us, spoke tongues, all that. Because she saw what was happening and she saw what it was doing to her granddaughter, and she went in the spirit to rebuke it and to fight back. That's why I will always, always, always give my grandma the fucking world. Do you hear me? Like, my grandma can have the world and then some, because it's like, girl, you saved my life. Like she went to God for me and requested that I come to him, you know, and find healing and truly find out who my father is. And that's the only way I was able to genuinely succeed and get that part of my life under control. Because she would do shit like call a job knowing damn well her boyfriend's parents are paying their phone bill, so their name is on the caller ID. So she'll call a job and it'll be their mom's name on the caller ID. So the company's looking at, who the fuck is this blah, blah, blah calling me? Whole time it's her. So we got to go to their parents and let them know, like, your name is in this mess because it's on the caller ID and this type of shit she was doing. And we went through a lot of phases where, like, it would be a them against us kind of thing. And it just caused issues in the family. And it was both households going at it. And it was just fully time for God to intervene and to step in. And I'm so glad he did, because now we have so much peace in this neighborhood. even though me and him are not together anymore, I can go speak to anybody in that house. I can't find my edge control, so I'm gonna have to just stick my edges to the back. But yeah, like I'm able to give so much grace and get so much grace, and for like accountability from these people, because yeah, like I was just a girl that just moved over here that didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like I didn't deserve none of that shit, and I appreciate them for reassuring me and just continuing to let me speak for myself. Like motherfuckers know I'm not a bad kid. They see how I live. They know my family. They cool with my family. So it's like when I say like things are so different, and it took getting that fucking demon out of here, like out of this neighborhood, out of this space, out of this energy. It took all that, and I can only thank God for that. God is the only one that got us out that situation, because God is the only one that took him out that relationship with her. God is the only one that blessed him with the opportunity to move on and do this and do that, and just I was just extremely grateful for what God was doing, how God was protecting me, how God was looking after my family. Like, y'all just don't know. Like, this year has been so good when it comes to not dealing with that shit. Like, I know, like, it got to the point where I had to tell people, don't come back and send me screenshots. Don't come back and tell me anything, because I'm an out of sight, out of mind kind of person. So when I'm not bothered by you, when I don't see anything that has nothing to do with you, I genuinely don't think about you. You're genuinely forgotten. And that's how I preferred it. Like, the only time that I'm speaking on this out loud is because I'm recognizing why God put me here. Like, of course you would sit and think like this isn't the ideal story or the ideal outcome or just whatever. But had I not been here, had I not went through it, I probably would have been okay with just working a 9 to 5. I probably wouldn't have created YouTube. I probably wouldn't have touched the people that I did. I probably wouldn't have met all the people that I've met. I probably wouldn't be loved as much as I'm loved, or able to give the love that I know that I would want to. And I thank God for this. I thank God for her, because the way I've been able to progress and move past it and grow up and mature while in it, I know there's nothing I can't get through. I know when it comes down to me really solidifying myself and really building that platform and really being that girl, that YouTuber, that influencer, I'll be able to handle what comes my way, because I can say I've been through the worst. I've been through people that want to see me fail on purpose. I've been through the people that try to put their hands in my blessings to tank them on purpose. So I've learned so much. My spiritual, like, I'm damn near psychic. Like, I thank God for that situation, because it took who I am spiritually to the next level. I didn't even know I was spiritual. I didn't even know I had these gifts and all these abilities without going to God first and even finding it. So I thank her for putting me in a situation to where I felt like God was the only answer, because at the end of the day, he really is. At the end of the day, fighting with her only gives her validation and makes her feel important. But the more I ignore her, the more she realizes she don't exist in my world. And the more I don't see nothing from her, I don't hear nothing from her. She damn sure don't talk to me. She damn sure don't communicate or like comment under my post or DM me, or she don't come to my house. She don't call my number. None of that. So when I say out of sight, out of mind, I've grown through that. I truly have. And I thank God every day, because this testimony, I know I'll be telling this testimony for the rest of my life, especially when I make it to who I really want to be. I know people are going to be like, tell us about, and I can't wait to, because just like today, like how I was able to smile and laugh through telling this story, had this been me a couple years ago, girl, I would have been so pissed, not even able to talk about it without you seeing that it still bothers me. I can go call that girl today, invite her out to lunch today, and be genuine from my end, because God has healed my heart. I'm able to forgive the people's demons and feel bad for them more than anything, because it's like, you really don't know no better. Like, whole time God put me over here in Riverdale to be a light and to kill the darkness. You were the darkness. You could have been the light. You could have came out the darkness, but you chose to. Now when I'm able to go out and I'm able to talk to people about certain experiences, or people that I do know can come back and ask me, how do I feel about this? Or is she still doing this? Is she still doing that? Like, the conversations that I can have from there, they just give like so mature. Like, I had a friend tell me the other day, like, I'm so proud of you for never letting that shit change your heart. Never letting that shit make you a bad person, make you a bad friend, whatever the case may be. Like, and I had to sit back and like give myself my tens. Had to give myself a round of applause, because it's like, yeah, like, God did give me this heart. God did give me this smile. God did give me this light that shines bright when I know I'm helping other people. And I will never let somebody that don't even like themselves or even know who they are convince me to cut my wings off. Like, I'm a fucking angel. And the people that God put me next to benefit or walk away from me feeling different, feeling better, doing better, knowing better. So that's how I know, like, I'm put on this earth to do exactly what I'm doing. I was put here to be exactly who I'm supposed to be. And I'm supposed to be sitting here right now talking to you about this, because even if you're not going through something with a stalker, something that I said can stick with you to make you handle shit different, or handle other people differently, or to see situations differently. Like, I went from somebody that, like, I know you're not biting on my shit. Like, it's my shit. Now it's like, no. When I post this, I want her to get off her ass and post this, because that's what you're supposed to do as a human being. Like, it's just, I could go on and on about the stories and whatever, but this story time isn't even to gossip or to bring light to them. This is just my testimony and something that I've got through by the grace of God. Because I mention having a stalker all the time, and y'all ask me, who the fuck are you talking about? All the time. I just have never wanted to do a story time, because I didn't want to put anybody else in a light of having to dodge bullets. She'll never aim at me. She'll never speak to me about the issue, but I care enough about the people that are around me to be intentional about timing. I can do what I want. It's my fucking platform. It's my story. It's my testimony. It's how God saved my life. And if you don't like that, then... But I do want to end this story time off, because you see my hair is done. Vibey. Ready for tomorrow. But I'm going to end this off by saying, whoever out there may be dealing with something similar, or just dealing with a tough time period, give God a chance. Give God a chance and let God show you differently. Because as humans, we always feel like, oh, I figured it out, or I know the answer, or I know what's best for me. But I'm telling you, you don't. I promise you, you don't. And I'm only telling you that from a place of living it. Thinking that I can fight fire with fire and still win and not come out burnt. But I got tired of being burnt and crispy. Like, I receive so much joy, and the karma hits so much harder when your hands are tied. When you truly give God a chance to be God and to do his thing. Because God don't play by his people either. And like, now that I'm in my Bible a lot more, and now that I'm starting to recognize certain things, God don't play. Definitely are not about his people. And I've always been the type to say that, because I've seen her get karma behind certain shit that she's done to me, either directly or indirectly. But nothing compares to giving God control and putting something out your mind, and then it comes back around as handled. You know what I mean? And even if you don't know what I mean, you'll see it. Even if y'all need me to elaborate on just how I was able to get over it even more, just let me know, and I would love to have a conversation. Because I touched on it some in my story time the day my ego died, and ego death is truly what brought me out of that. But I've been able to progress and flourish and bloom as Kayla, as TotesMonroe, as the multi-hustle queen, as everything that I say I am, because I'm that girl. In Jesus' name. I just pray that this story time adds a little light to your situation. I pray that my testimony helps you feel seen and normal and all those good things. That's really it. Like I said, this is an ongoing story because I'm still actively being stalked. And if you're my stalker watching this, keep it cute. Because just keep it cute, because I would hate to go to God on you. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to my story. And thank you so much for supporting me all this time. Like, I don't think y'all know. The support is why motherfuckers don't like me. Like, y'all coming through, liking the video, commenting, us being able to communicate and fellowship and just be one as a community, as the Totes Team Totes tribe. That pisses people off more than you know, because that just lets people know I am who I am genuinely from the heart, and people gravitate to me because this is really me. Like, people that don't like you will always convince themselves that you're wearing a mask. That's not her, that's not her, that's not her. But I'm telling you, it is. And y'all love it here for that reason, and I love you for being here for that reason, because everybody is out here trying to put on a persona or put on a mask to be liked or to be accepted, when I just get on here and do me every day and y'all love me. Like, that last video, I looked a fucking mess by the head, but I felt so beautiful and I felt so accepted and received by my community to even do that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Make sure you tag me in your stories. Make the heart. Since we got some new people, let me explain. When I do this, you come in like this and we come together. So I'll be doing this on YouTube and you'll be doing this while taking a boomerang of us making a heart together. You know what I mean? You get it. Heart, leave a comment. Get us to 10 likes so we can get to the next video. Go watch our last Vlogmas, episode 2 through 6. I gotta get this one edited and posted for y'all for day 7 or 8, whatever day this is. I'm so thrown off. But yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, let God fight your battles. Be quick to think and slow to react. Do not come up off the hill that God has put you on purposely to keep these peons beneath you. Remember who you are. Remember, my grandma always told me there's a scripture in the Bible, and I haven't got to that scripture yet, but this story sticks with me. There was someone in the Bible that had a imp in their side, and they always prayed, God, remove this imp, remove this imp, remove this imp, and God never did, because the purpose was to make you stronger with it. And now, with this imp in my side, baby, that shit's in my ribs, and I still remain unfazed. I still remain unmoved, and I still give glory to my God, because I'm beautiful, I'm solidified in who I am, and I'm alive, living my life wholeheartedly, genuinely. And that's all I can do to stay close to the Creator. As long as I'm doing what I need to do for God, I know I'm in alignment, period. So, and remember that I love you most of all. Thank you so much for watching.
I don't know if the